from Pro Football Focus. I'm going to butcher his last name, George Chahrouri.
Whoa!
You were pretty close.
Chahouri.
So anytime
Chahrouri.
I
think I did it.
I'm just going to work with George, and I'm going to do Twitter handle at PFF_George. How about that? Every Friday, we have someone from Pro Football Focus join us, make us that much smarter, make you that much smarter. And George, you and I, we've been working on getting you in studio. Worked out today, so we're going to keep you around, and so much to get to. Let's start with a game that is fascinating, I think, to both of us and actually everyone. The line movement in this Tampa Saints game, now down to the Saints as a 3-point favorite. Last weekend, this was a huge win for Vegas that the Saints outright beat the Cowboys. That line seems short to me. Bucks only getting 3 after an incredible performance. What's your feel on this game Sunday?
Well, it's crazy. Could you think of two more diametrically opposed quarterbacks? Like Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis Winston, from off the field, on the field, are total opposites, right? Jameis Winston throws the ball downfield with reckless abandon. Godwin, Evans, they get downfield better than anybody else. And Teddy Bridgewater can't help but throw the ball short, right? So in a game where you figure points are going to be scored, because that's what Tampa does, they're either going to turn it over or they're going to score, the Saints don't seem to really have an offense that wants to score a lot of points. So to me, the door is open here for the Bucks. But 3?
Short.
3 is rough. It was 6.5 on Sunday, and then the Bucks go out and take advantage of a Rams team that didn't really show up in a couple of key situations and win that game, and now all of a sudden I think all the value's out of it. But if the Bucks can win this game, they triple their chances to win that division.
Wow.
So this is huge.
So are you saying there's a little bit of value right now? If you're a Tampa backer, can you realistically, you got to hedge, you got to be bold. Would you put some money down on the NFC South going to the Bucks?
I think that's how I would bet this game.
Okay.
Right? Because at least you can, you feel a little bit better about yourself afterwards.
Yeah, we got it up on the TV side.
Before the season.
Plus 450. So there you go.
You wish you sprinkled a little bit of money in Tim's heart. Just sprinkle on that Tampa Bay.
In fairness, this was like a team we loved preseason.
Tampa?
Yeah. Because the Arians-Jameis matchup makes sense.
Right.
Jameis has never had a coach who diagrammed plays that actually attack deep downfield. Now he does.
Is it hard to dive into analytics, just following up on this a little bit, with Jameis Winston, a guy that we saw had so much potential? He has one of the best receivers in Mike Evans in the game, but he's just so inconsistent. He's hard to bet on. So is it hard to kind of come up with his analytics on a game-by-game basis?
Yeah, he does some of the craziest things from game to game, as you said. He has some of the highest rates of positively graded throws. So those are throws, 10-plus yards downfield, into tight coverage. He makes those throws at the highest rate in the NFL. But he also makes turnover-worthy plays, right, at one of the highest rates in the NFL. And those things, as you said, they're not very stable, not consistent from week to week. So that's why I'd rather take the season-long angle, because, I hope things work
It'll balance out, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being prisoner of the moment, but I'm watching this Russell Wilson kid, and I'm just like, this dude is unreal. I don't know if I've seen anything like him in my entire football watching life. What do the numbers suggest all time with this guy? I mean, to me, obviously right now, who's a comp with him? Mahomes only, right?
Yeah.
What do the numbers bear out of how good this guy is?
Well, he's our highest graded quarterback so far this year.
Wow.
And that's including last night's game where he was amazing, and that includes Pat Mahomes, right? Now, the tough thing for him is that his offense is so much different than that Chiefs offense, right? They run the ball a ton.
Right.
But when they throw the ball, he is as good as anyone in the league. He makes those throws, those over-the-shoulder throws. No one's been more accurate on those in his career. Downfield, 20-plus yards. The only guy with more completions is Pat Mahomes. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
It is spectacular. Last night was a thing of beauty, and they were fortunate to come out with a victory. Missed field goal,
very fortunate
at the end. But hey, they're not going to be complaining about that victory. George Chahrouri.
Why'd you do it again? Why'd he do it?
I got to do it. We are on the radio, too.
At least we're improving.
It's not just for the TV people. It's for the listeners listening. Like, who's this guy? He's giving us great insight.
That was much better, though.
Follow him on Twitter. How about that, listeners on the radio side? At PFF_George, Pro Football Focus, every single Friday on this show. Atlanta and Houston this weekend, George. This is a spot. Dan Quinn, it feels like it's week by week. Is he going to be fired? Is he not going to be fired? The Texans right now laying 4, and if you look at, I imagine the general public is going to say you got to play Houston here, but there seems to be some wise guy action on Atlanta on the road. What's your feel on Atlanta at Houston?
Well, I've bet on the Falcons way too many times.
Same.
I'm at the point now where, like, I'd rather go apple picking than bet on the Falcons and watch that game.
Is something wrong with apple picking?
It's apple picking
It's
season.
not my thing.
It's a season,
not my
George.
thing.
Careful.
It's not my thing. And you're right. I mean, this line yesterday was 5. I've seen it today kind of bouncing back and forth. Let me put it this way. If you blindfolded yourself and you hadn't watched any of these teams play for the first 4 weeks, and you take it off and you look at these teams now, they're that big a difference between these two teams?
No.
They both have a good quarterback, good receiver, bad defense, questionable coaching decisions, and yet it's a 5-point, 4-point game. I think if you can get it at that 5 number, there's sadly value on the Falcons.
Sure, it is.
I don't want to
do it again,
don't want to
George.
do it.
Don't do it.
But they're a top 10 passing offense yet again, and that is the most predictive thing in football. So
I started a bonfire earlier this week with my 2-1 Falcons to win the AFC South after they beat the Eagles.
Put that on prop swap.
and the
See what you
Saints-
can get.
Yeah, they'll get negative money. They'll have to pay
They're like,
someone
you
to
can
take it. Yeah.
just take it off my hands. I don't want to look at it
I don't want to
anymore.
look at it.
George, a game that's absolutely fascinating to me is the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas
Yes.
Cowboys. I'm a little shocked that the Dallas Cowboys are laying 3.5 against this Packers team. When you look at both quarterbacks and the systems they run, and both defenses obviously playing extremely good football, why are the Dallas Cowboys favored 3.5?
it's called America's team. and they, despite losing to the Saints, right, they played 3 very bad teams to start out the season and made them look utterly horrible. And I think there's some Devontae Adams not playing fear out there, and the fact that this Matt LaFleur offense doesn't look great, right? The Packers have won a lot of games based on their defense. I will be very honest with you, though. I'm a little surprised. I think that half point is interesting to me.
Yep.
I would have expected it to be 3, honestly. Look, Aaron Rodgers isn't playing as well as he has, but he's the better quarterback getting points in this game.
For sure.
And here's the X factor for me. You know who's not playing on the Cowboys side of things is Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
The last time he didn't play, Adrian Claiborne literally made himself a career's worth of money, right, in that Falcons game
Yeah,
where,
you're right.
I mean, they literally lost that game because of it. Without Tyron Smith on the field, they are a bottom 5 offense.
Well, and we saw already this year, Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith have wreaked havoc in the backfield.
They've been
so,
good.
you know, that is something where it's a great point that you make because everyone knows Devontae Adams, and we just saw him on Thursday Night Football light up the Eagles. But if there's no Tyron Smith, that is tricky. However, I would ask this. You know, the Eagles had their way running the ball against this Packers defense. Without Tyron Smith, what do you feel about Zeke on Sunday?
Well, I think they lean into Zeke. And I actually think that's a good thing for the Packers because I think it keeps the game close, right? You're not going to have as much of the explosive play Dallas Cowboys offense. They killed teams by running play action 40% of the time. It wasn't the running game that got them this offensive explosion. It was the play action game with Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott and Michael Gallup, who's not playing, and Mari Cooper, who looks, frankly, not 100%. So Zeke running the ball, that's fine. If I'm the Packers, I'm actually fine with that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, a recipe to go broke is betting on the Falcons like we have too many times, and then Rodgers on the road getting points, right? I mean, betting against him, that's a tough way to earn a living. I'm looking at the Monday nighter. San Fran, I got it at 3.5. You guys have the updated stuff, but to me, 3.5 at home. I feel like they haven't really played anyone. The Browns have looked really good the last few weeks. Who do you like in that game? Which way are you leaning?
I have a really hard time picking either side of this game. The Niners are coming off this long rest.
Right.
The Browns are coming off of a kitchen sink game, pardon the pun, right? They had to throw everything out in that game, and they did, and they won, and it was great. But now they go to San Francisco, a team that's well rested, like kind of breathing a sigh of relief, and that worries me a little bit. And the 2 quarterbacks, I actually don't think we know a ton about Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield quite yet. I think both of them have been less than ideal, and the Niners have won these games because they've gotten some turnover help, right, which you wouldn't expect to continue. So, man, I'm if I don't know, I'll take the points.
Yeah.
But it's a tough spot, I think, for the Browns here on Monday night.
He's George from Pro Football Focus. George, just do it.
What's his last name,
I
Tim?
need George to do it for me.
I'll give it to you. Chahouri.
Chahouri.
Chahrouri.
We'll keep working on
I think I
it.
did something similar.
It sounds like Tim's cold when he
It does. I can only imagine, your first day of college,
Oh, yeah.
That had to be, that's the best when the professor is sitting there like, oh, I'm going to be smart here. I'm going to know everyone's last name. You're like, just don't try.
Who do you think was more nervous for that, the professor or me?
The professor, for sure.
Probably.
To be fair, it is pronounced how it looks, though. You know what I mean?
Also, to be
It's a
fair, we
hard
have 3 very easy last names to pronounce.
That's
so I think
true.
it's
Travis
True.
Thomas,
Very basic.
Sarah Perlman, Tim Murray, George
Adding diversity.
Chahrouri. You can follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow. Pro Football Focus every single Friday in this spot at PFF_George. It is the Daily Line, NBC Sports Radio.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.